Chapter 4, Lesson 4, Parallel and Perpendicular Lines. So just a reminder, parallel lines are lines that never cross. Alright, so remember parallel lines, they will never cross each other. They're going to keep going. We usually see these arrows to represent that they're parallel. When we think about two parallel lines on a coordinate plane, their slopes are equal. They are exactly the same. Alright, then we have perpendicular lines, and perpendicular lines are lines that cross at a 90-degree angle. Alright, so perpendicular lines cross and they make 90 degrees, and it actually makes four 90-degree angles, but usually we just measure and show that one of them is 90 degrees, and it means that they're all 90 degrees. Now their slopes are a little bit tricky. They are what we call the negative reciprocals of each other. And it's a little bit tricky. So if the slope of one line is 1/2, the slope of a line that is perpendicular, we first need to find the reciprocal. So remember, we change the place of the numerator and denominator, so we make it 2/1, but then it also needs to be the negative reciprocal. And so it's not just 2/1, it's negative 2/1. Or if our slope was -5, then the slope of the line that is perpendicular to that is the reciprocal, 1/5, and it's positive, not negative. So we have to do two things, change the sign and make it the reciprocal. So let's look at some examples. So what we're going to be doing is trying to find the graphs, the equations that go with the graph of a line that is parallel or perpendicular to another line. So what we need to figure out is what's the slope of that line. So in this case, we know that we want the equation of a line that goes through the point 3,5, or -3,5, and it needs to be parallel to the graph of y equals 2x minus 4. So if we graph that, we want a line that's parallel to that equation, but it needs to cross through this point. So the first thing I need to do is I need to look at this equation over here, and I need to say, what's the slope? What does m equal? Well, y equals 2x minus 4. Here's the m, so m equals 2. If the two lines are parallel, their slopes are exactly the same. So the slope of my line is also going to be 2. Well, now we're doing just what we did yesterday. We have a point and we have the slope, and I need to write an equation in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to use my point-slope form that I learned yesterday, and I'm going to say, so y minus 5 equals 2 times x plus 3, because remember it's x minus -3. So now I distribute, y minus 5 equals 2x plus 6, add 5 to both sides, and y equals 2x plus 11. And there's my equation in slope-intercept form. Okay, so we're going to do another example, but now we want a line that is perpendicular. So I know it goes through this point, but I need to look at this equation and I need to figure out, what does m equal? Well, that equation is not in slope-intercept form. So the first thing I need to do is get it in slope-intercept form. So minus 2x on both sides, so 3y equals -2x plus 12, divide by 3, and y equals -2/3 x plus 4. So the slope of this line is -2/3, and the two lines are perpendicular. So the slope over here is not -2/3, it's the negative reciprocal. So it's positive 3/2. So now I know the slope, I know a point that it goes through, and I'll use the other method. I'll use y equals mx plus b. So 6 equals mx plus b. So now I have 6 equals, and remember it's 4/1, and so I get -6 plus b, add 6 to both sides, 12 equals b. Now I have my slope, I have my y-intercept. My equation is y equals 3/2 x plus 12, and there's my final answer.